Bam! I'm on and in it to win it. Welcome to the Mexican American Podcast. This is the first official one. I'm a little nervous, and I don't know why. but yeah, Mexican American Podcast with your host Jesse Cortez. Holla at your boy. And I got my first official special guest that we've been trying to I've been trying to have him on for a long time. He's like, "What's up? Why are you taking so long?" So I want to introduce the primo, the cuz, the legend, Julian Gomez. What's
What up?
up?
What up? What up? For all you Martin fans out there, go way back.
Bro.
Good to
Yeah,
be
man.
here.
Welcome, man. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. Finally, they say persistence beats resistance, and I feel like you were resisting this for a while, but we're finally here.
Oh,
I got the call to the pen 2 days ago. He's like, "You ready to rock?" I'm like, "Man, bro, I've been ready. So let's get it."
for sure,
I'm
bro.
here.
Literally, no, I've been doing this podcasting, trying to get this done, get this done situated, and he's been like, "Yo, what's up? What's up?"
Hey,
Uh,
man.
but yeah, bro. So we got you
Appreciate it.
finally, bro. I've been waiting to try to do this for a while because I'm trying to get serious with it. I'm trying to get
Yes.
good at this, and
Yes.
I'm getting better. And yeah, bro, it's gonna be pretty fun. One thing that I know, man, is that Halloween was last night, and
Mm-hmm.
you're a man with children.
Yes.
How I don't have kids. Please let me know how that experience was yesterday. What was that like, especially with the pandemic going on? Was it
Man,
different? Did you do anything? Were you able to trick or treat? Some places is banned.
yeah, it's been very interesting, man. Obviously, this whole pandemic has kind of changed up the way that we live life now. And Halloween yesterday, the kids were really excited, man. We got them some costumes, and we were last minute. We went to Walmart the other day, and my kids wanted to be Black Panther. It seems like everybody wants to be Black Panther these days. Rest in
Yeah.
peace. Chadwick, right?
Hmm.
Wakanda forever. You know what I mean? We ended up finding the last two Black Panther costumes in Walmart, right? And then my daughter, she ended up being a witch. So we went to my parents' house in Orland Park, and they had to schedule from like 2 to 8. So we went out, and some people had some signs up, saying like they were not participating in trick or treating. Others had tables out, like saying take what you want. But I mean, we walked around probably for about an hour, maybe about a good 2-3 miles. And I mean, my kids racked up, like, by the end, they were like, "Man, I want to go home." Their bags were like almost to the top full. So it was definitely a really good experience, and especially yesterday was a very nice day outside. It was almost 60 degrees. I remember last year it snowed for the first time. It was the first snowfall of the year, so it was very, very inconvenient to go out and trick or treat.
Yeah. Right.
But it was good, man. It was really, really good. We had a good time. Me and my wife, we were walking around with our mask, and everybody was so friendly, man. It's just, I was thinking about where I live in my neighborhood, and I was telling my wife, I was like, man, I'm seeing these tables and people having just candy laid out. I'm like, man, if it was my neighborhood, I really don't believe that those tables would last. People wouldn't, take one. And I don't know. It's just, I mean, it was interesting to me. You know what I mean? Just like looking to where I was trick or treating with my kids to where my area and what I was used to growing up with. Like, I don't think we'd ever have a table out there because it just, I don't know, it wouldn't have
Different.
worked. There wouldn't have
Yeah.
been any candy left after 5 minutes.
It's different, especially with the good candy, man. That should be gone.
Bro, people were giving out candy bar. Like literally my kids got they got whole bags of Skittles, right? Like a big bag of Skittles that you like buy at the store.
Dang.
Hershey's, like Reese's. I'm like, man, we gotta come trick or treating over here more often. Like, this is great.
So wait, so you guys racked up on like wait, how much candy do you guys have?
Man, we have three. So here, look, check this out.
All right, man. It's, bro, a
So
whole bag.
for those of you at home, this is the bag, and like this is obviously, and you see here, like this is where the line is right here.
Right.
Like we're
Right.
here.
Yeah.
So like there's only like it's crazy, man. Like this bag is heavy, man. Like me and my wife were carrying our kids' candy, like walking around at the end because they were just tired of holding it. That's how heavy it was.
Yeah. And
It
they're like
was
whole candy bars and shit.
man, I'm telling you, I was I don't think I've ever, even like when I was younger going trick or treating, like there's specific like homes that you knew they gave out the really good candy. And then like you only hear about the rumors of like there's houses that give like big old candy bars. And it's just like yesterday we experienced that. I was like, man, this is great. This is really good. I got to come out here to this area all the time.
Yeah, bro, man.
That was fun.
I never really ever got, from what I remember, like big ass candy bars or like whole candy. There's always been fun size for some like whack ass candy. I never lucked out, man. Other kids would come out, like, I don't know why, but we would, more often than not, I'd always get the neighborhood where they weren't like doing trick-or-treating or participating. So I wouldn't come out with like, then I'd see other kids with all this candy pillowcase. I go to school the next day and they're like, oh man, I got all this candy. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, me too. Me too.
You want to share? Yeah, right.
Nah, but yeah, bro. What you call it? Did you get to see UFC yesterday or no?
You know what? I didn't check it out, man. I didn't, but you know, I saw some people on my feeds. Actually, I saw in your feed, Anderson Silva was fighting. I mean, he's one of the greats. I mean, I'm not really like into UFC like a lot of people are, but like you hear a name like Anderson Silva, it's like, all right, that guy is, one of the best, like all time, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So it wasn't really it wasn't promoted. Actually, the one that was promoted before was when Anderson Silva fought Israel Adesanya, I think, and that was, I guess, like supposed to be close to his last fight, and this one was actually supposed to be his last fight. It was kind of weird. It wasn't really promoted or anything like that. And for that being his last fight, and for him being one of the like greats, one of the legends, kind of weird now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But the dude was he was a beast though. But you're more into like, I see you're wearing the soccer jersey.
Well, you know what, man? I'm not like, I'm more of a baseball guy. Like I'm open to all sports, right? I'm open to all sports. Baseball's my go-to, right? Baseball's my go-to. But I watch basketball, football. I mean, soccer. I like Mexico, obviously. During the World Cup and all that. So I always wanted a jersey. Actually, we got my dad a jersey for his birthday. Yeah. So I ended up buying one for me and my wife too, because I've always wanted one.
Yeah.
But baseball's my sport, man. Like, I grew up with playing baseball, when I was younger. And my kids have, grown to like it. They want to start playing. So, for me, it's like I don't want to force them to do anything that they don't want to do. I want them to, any sport that they want to play, whatever it may be. I don't want to be like, hey, I used to play baseball and, I was really good and all this stuff and you got to play baseball. No. Like if they want to play it, cool. If they don't, they can play whatever they want. I just want them to be active and, go for it, because I see a lot of people like try to force their kids into, doing stuff that they did right before. And it's like, well, what if your kid doesn't like it? You know what I mean? It's like, I want my kids to make their own decision and, go. But yeah, I mean, I'm down with all sports, man. I mean, I can sit here and talk sports all day and night, till I'm blue in the face, man. You know what I mean? I love it. It's fantastic. But baseball's my thing, man. I could talk about baseball all day and night, man. I love it.
You know what I want to ask you real quick? Because you kind of mentioned it right now. And I'm kind of like curious, like what you think, because I don't have any kids myself. So, but I think about like, if I have kids, I want them to be active. Right. And you kind of said, like, I'm the same way. Like, I don't want to like push people, my kids into something they don't want to do. But, you get the kids are like, I don't, you get them, sometimes they're like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything, like, so how far do you like push, like you got to make sure they stay active, or do you just like, you know what I mean? Like,
sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting question, man, because I mean, like my daughter, right? She, the first thing we ever tried for her was softball and, or baseball. I mean, she was mixed in with like, it was guys and girls, right? But, she was younger and, she just really wasn't like down with it. Like now she would, she wants to, right? I feel like things are so different now compared to like when we were younger, because I feel like kids were more active outside because technology wasn't so prevalent. Nowadays it's just like kids they could be locked in their room playing, Call of Duty or all those games, and they're online talking to all these friends, or like my kids are really heavy into playing Roblox and Minecraft and all this stuff. And it's just like, it's really finding a a very healthy balance of, okay, you know, carving out some time to be able to be online with your friends, but also going outside and enjoying and, you know, going to, I don't know, run around, ride your bike,
Right. Yeah.
go
Yeah.
be active outside of technology, man. Cause it's very easy. I mean, I know I get sucked in on the phone and or on technology. It's very simple to do, man. It's just
Yeah,
like,
dude.
you could sit here and start binging on Netflix. It's like,
Bro.
you know, I started watching The Punisher on Netflix the other day or 2 weeks ago, and I'm already through season 2, waiting for season 3 to pop up. And it's just like, it's very easy to get sucked in because it's like, you know, Netflix gives you literally 10 seconds until the next episode hits. So it's like, if you don't hit cancel, he's like, oh, well, I'm already here. It already
Bro.
started. I might as well go through it.
Me and my wife, we watched UFC, right? And on the UFC app, it's the same shit. Like, so I'm
Right.
watching all the Ultimate Fighters, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch this one, and then we're gonna go to bed. And so we'll watch it, and then like you said, dude, bro, I was like, all right, hurry up, turn it off, and it starts, and it's just like, fuck, we gotta watch it now. And then
Dude,
we
for
sit there
real.
and we watch 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's very addicting, man. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just like really finding a healthy balance for the kids. I mean, because now, especially even with e-learning, dude, like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
my kids are on the computer from 8 a.m. They get a break in between all the way to like 2:30. They're on a screen, and then they, you know, like they want to get on their iPads to like decompress a little bit, but it's just like screen time is intense. Like we took our kids to go get their eyes checked the other day, and thank God they're good, but I mean, it's just, you know, staring at the screen all day, like 10, 15 hours a day, that
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
absolutely not good. So, you know, going back to that question, you know, for my kids, like specifically my kids, you know, not talking about everybody else's kids, but just my kids in general.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, whatever they want to do, you know, like I'm going to encourage them, whatever they want to do, but definitely having certain limitations on the amount of time that they spend, for me, specifically with technology, is very, very key. You know, me and my wife, you know, we don't succeed all the time, but
Yeah.
trying to succeed majority of the time, and trying to give them like, hey, okay, set limitations on how much they're doing this, and then, you know, being outside. But again, you know, with this whole pandemic thing, it's just like, you know, and I know everybody has different viewpoints on all that, and I'm not going to get into all that, but, you know, it's just become very difficult to go and do a lot of things, man, because certain places are shut down, there's certain restrictions, and I don't know, man. It's
Right.
pretty crazy, man, how things are transpiring, man. I never, going into 2020 when the ball dropped, it's like, I don't think anybody ever thought that this is how 2020 would go for a lot of people, man. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people. It was a big shock, man. I mean, I knew, of course, because I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I watch Alex Jones. I watch
Sure.
Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, all them people. So
For sure.
we knew.
Yeah, we knew, right?
No, no, but that seems like a pretty fair, like, you know, way of thinking as far as like, you know, making sure everything's balanced. So
Yeah, you have to be, man. You have to, because I don't know, it's just so easy to, I don't know, be influenced, man, by so many things online these days. You know, and it's just like, you gotta be a free thinker, man. You know, it's okay to be influenced here and there, but you gotta come up with your own opinions and your own, like, what do you believe, right?
yeah,
And not believe something because just somebody else believes it, but do you wholeheartedly believe, and like, what are your thoughts, right? I don't know. I mean, I do know. I mean, that's how, you know, I was never growing up. I wasn't like that, but you know, through the years, it's just like learning and having mentors, and you know, going through experiences. It's like you start creating your own philosophies and your own ideas, and no matter what anybody else thinks, man, as long as what you feel is right, like, all right, cool, like, it's good.
yeah, it's really that's something that I'm learning right now as far as trying to think for yourself. I mean, I've thought for myself until I continued, I guess, by my awareness of my, I don't know, self thought or whatever. But the more I become aware of my thoughts, the more I become, like, what you say, like a free thinker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because I'm thinking about like what I'm feeling, my solutions, or what I think about certain things, and I really think about questions. I feel like a lot of people don't think about their questions, like their own questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know how
Totally
sometimes
agree.
you're in class, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you're falling behind and you don't want to raise your hand and ask a question, so you just
Yeah.
pretend like you know. I feel
Right.
like a lot of people are doing that now, you know, and
Oh,
it's just like,
totally.
and what you're saying to be a free thinker is like it's a real hard thing, especially again with all the distractions and these fucking UFC 10-second like in between episodes and shit. It
I
doesn't
mean,
allow us to think for ourselves.
it really does, man. I mean, it's just so much influence out there on like, you know, who you should vote for and what you should do and like where you should go and like what you should be doing here and there. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like if more people thought for themselves and really just came up with their own ideas and, I don't know, just really investigated things like really for themselves and just, I don't know, man. You know, I was having this conversation with my dad yesterday, you know, not to get all political here, but he's just asking me like who I think's going to win. And, you know, we were having a private conversation about it. And I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people don't take the time to really like investigate and look at like what, like my decision and who I'm going to vote for, what, like, how is this going to affect me and my family for the next 4, 5, 10 years, right? It's, you know, I feel like a lot of people are just going on how they feel, right? And just, and that's just in general and anything, right? It's just like
Right.
how I feel, like my feeling. It's like, no, take, you know, one of my mentors said before, it's like, take the feeling out of it and just do it, right? Because too many people are so involved in their feelings and they let their feelings overcome everything else. It's just like, well, if I'm mad, then I'm gonna, you know, what I do, my reaction is gonna be a lot different than if I'm not mad, right? So I just feel like a lot of people these days, especially now, man, in our society, you know, especially this year, it's just gotten really, really intense. You know, it's just like you might have one uh thought, and then I have a different thought, but it's like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, man, Jesse, you know, I don't want to talk to you ever again, or because you think different than me. It's like we can coexist. And I just feel like there's not a lot of existing going on today.
Yeah.
There's so much division, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just a tough situation, man. You know, even that too, like going back to kids, is just like I don't want my kids to know all that stuff. Like, you know, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we need to exist with, I don't know, like
No, that's true.
there's so much, bro.
No, that's true. There's a lot of stuff like in that, like because I see that like on, you know, it's kind of weird too because like I see a whole bunch of that happening
Hmm.
on online on Facebook and social media and stuff like that, where there's like all this arguing based on feeling and emotion. Like there's a lot of people just being very, very emotional on the news media, people being very, very emotional. And
Yeah.
it's like the people are so attached to their answer or their feeling, and they don't look at things subjective or objectively, you know. And I don't know, like you said with the coexisting, we really have to like look at, you know, just like people as our brothers or sisters or mothers or parents. When they do something that we don't agree with, yeah, it pisses us off. Yeah, it might have been disrespectful, but you know, like we realize they're not perfect. We're not
Yeah.
perfect. You know, sometimes they mess up, maybe we're wrong or whatever, but you know, we still love each other. You're still my mom, you're still my brother, you're still my friend, you know.
Yeah.
You're still my coworker, you're still a human being. I don't agree with you, but you know, we can still go on. But there's certain things though that are not, you know, there's certain things that just cross the line. But
Sure. No, yeah, of course. I mean, definitely, you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
There's a lot of things like that, for sure. Um, but yeah, man, you know, free thinking, man. I mean, I'm so glad that I was taught all that, you know what I mean? Cause like, you know, growing up, I wasn't, I mean, I just, you know, I don't know. I was having this conversation with my wife the other day, you know what I mean? Like being in the position that we are and being able to be here with our kids and, you know, business and, you know, entrepreneurship was not something I grew up with. And then, you know, learning that years ago and being taught a lot of concepts that I never thought has allowed me now to like be able to branch off and do other things. You know, it's pretty cool, man. It really is. It's very, very cool to be able to think for yourself and
yeah,
not be influenced or be as little influence as possible by outside opinions and all that stuff, you know.
yeah,
Like it's your life, your path, and no matter what anybody else says, man, like you got to go with what you feel is best for you and your family, you know.
right. So it's actually, you're talking about your life, your path, and stuff like that. To bring it back to baseball, because I
Yeah.
know you like baseball, and I know you
Yeah.
actually did baseball when you're in high school.
Yeah.
What made you get into to baseball, and like what have you done in your life as far as baseball goes?
Man, so when I was younger, I started out playing when I was like 9 or 10. I mean, my dad got me involved, and my dad used to like practice with me all the time. Started playing a little bit over here in the East Side, Little League. Started playing there. They had certain levels, so I played in the minors, majors, and the seniors, and I got up to high school. Started playing there. Just fell in love with it, man. I fell in love with the game. I'm a very analytical guy. I've been my whole life, and I feel like baseball is very heavy on analytics and numbers and all that stuff, averages, and so like for me, I just fell in love with it, man. I not to like sound mean against any other sport, if you love it or whatever, but
Yeah.
I just feel like baseball in general is a very smart game, right? Like you have to be like, and not saying you don't have to be smart in other sports. I'm just saying in general, like for baseball, there's a lot of thinking that goes into like it. And for me as an analytical person, I was very attracted to that. Once I got to high school, I just strictly became a pitcher, and in pitching, you're trying to outthink the batter,
Yeah.
right? So like the batter thinks there's a fastball coming, I'm gonna throw you a curve, or I'm gonna throw you a changeup, and I'm just trying to get the batter out, and I became very, very good at it. It's because it became my passion, and I feel like things that you're passionate about, you're going to continue with, and the only regret I have in my life is when I got to college, like I quit, I gave up because, things got hard. I got recruited to go play baseball at a D3 school, and the coach that recruited me ended up leaving before I even got there. So there was a new guy that came in, he had no clue who I was. And for me, instead of pushing through and trying to make myself known, I just easily gave up, but a lot of it had to do too, that I allowed myself to be influenced by the college life, and not sitting here making excuses, because that was, over 15, 20 years ago. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I probably continued and gone on and, done some major damage? I probably could have, man, but it is what it is. But, I love baseball. One of my goals and dreams is I want to coach. I want to coach baseball, and I want to do that. And, if my sons end up playing, I mean, I think I might get into that, now that I do have the time to be able to make that happen. I think that'd be pretty awesome. I see other people that have dove into that and made that happen. And I feel like in coaching, something that I love, also you can, mentor and, help like little kids, and it'll allow me to spend more time than I already do with my sons, doing something that I am very passionate about, and hopefully they are too. And if not, then, it is what it is. It's all good. If they decide they want to go play something else or do something else, that's fine by me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try to force my kids to do something that I gave up on. You know what I mean? I don't want my dream to become their dream, only if they want that to be their dream. Right. But if not, then it is what it is. But yeah, man, baseball is something I'm very, very passionate about, man.
What did you you said because you were saying it's very, very, because I'm a big overthinker. I don't know if it's analytical, but I overthink a lot. And
Sure.
but you had said that it's very like it's a smart game. What about, like, because I had no idea, like, because I watch baseball, but I'm a casual baseball guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So for someone to say that, it's kind of like, it's a little weird. Like, well, what about it specifically interests you, or why is it a smart game, and why do you like that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's like it's a lot of like if you watch baseball a lot, you'll hear the term like situational baseball. Like there's a lot of situations that pop up, and as a player, depending on what position that you're playing, you need to know exactly what you need to do, like where. So like for example, if there's man on first and second with no outs, and the opposing team is down, or they're up, they might try to bunt, right? In a situation like that, if they try to bunt, like as a pitcher, like in my case, like I need to know what base I'm going to be covering if the ball is hit down the third baseline, or if it's hit the first baseline. Am I the one that's going to get it? Or if it's hit down the first baseline, is the first baseman going to go get it? And then I'm going to run to first to hold the bag to get the out, right? So it's just like there's a lot of mental things that go on based on what situation, and the reaction time has got to be like so quick. I mean, you look at somebody who throws 95, 100 miles an hour, when it comes off the bat, it's coming off at 110, 115 miles an hour. So like the reaction time has got to be like it's crazy. Like if you really look at it, like there's a lot of things you can look up online. Like ESPN has like I forgot what it's called, but they're always doing like man, what is it? They're always looking at the analytics. They're always looking at the statistics of like, you know, if the ball is thrown this hard, if it travels this far, if it travels at this speed, like what are the probabilities and all that stuff. And I mean, you know, even in college, when I was taking statistical courses or when I was in high school doing like physics, like it involved numbers, and it's just weird, man. Like that stuff. I like it. It's so
So you really love like numbers and
I
how
do
everything
like
works out and like
yeah like it's just weird. Like even like, you know, I look at videos online and, you know, they show those. I don't know if you ever seen those videos where they talk about like you're here on Earth and then how many light years away like the universe is, or like the Milky Way galaxy or whatever. And I'm like, that's just fascinating to me. Like that's insane. Like I don't know, man.
You ever see that video of you know, like the size of our Earth?
Yes.
And then the next, you know, the like the sun, and then like the biggest star, and then like it goes all the way to our universe. Like,
bro, yes. Yeah. Like people might be sitting here listening to this podcast right now and being like, these guys are weirdos, or this guy's talking is weird, but I like that. I'm fascinated by that stuff. You know what I mean? And then, you know, again, going back to baseball, like that's what I mean. You know what I mean? And when I say smart, I'm not saying like it's your IQ, right? You know, it's
strategical.
It's more, right, exactly. Like you got to know what you need to do in these situations on the fly, and like if you don't, it can cost you the game. Like you look, like the World Series just happened, right? There was the Dodgers and the Rays, and this coach Kevin Cash for the Tampa Bay Rays, he's getting a lot of flack for it because he took out his pitcher in the 6th inning after he gave up his second hit. His second hit of the game. And the Rays were down 3-2, so it was a must-win situation for them to force a Game 7. But as soon as they took the pitcher out, and he was dominating, he had like, I think 7 Ks or 9 strikeouts in a matter of 6 innings, right? Only allowed his second hit, the coach took him out. And the reason he took him out is because the numbers said that he was a worse pitcher going into the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings as opposed to 1 through 6. But somebody looking in on the game that doesn't know anything about baseball would say, he is doing well. Why are you going to take him out? Right? Now, if it would have gone well, if they would have won, then the manager looks like, you know, he's a genius. Right. But because it failed, like everybody's blaming him. He's becoming the scapegoat as to why they lost. So it's things like that it's just like, all right, well, you know, it's like it's a 50-50 shot. Either this is going to work or it's not. You know, it's like now like with the White Sox, right? The White Sox, you know, I'm a big White Sox fan. And they just hired Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa was a Hall of Fame manager, 3-time world champion, right? He won one with the American League, 2 with the National League, but he's 76 years old. And a lot of people are against his age, him coming in with such a very, very young team, you know? So it's just like there's, I don't know, everybody has opinions, you know? And this is going back to that, being a free thinker. It's like, you got to knock out all the opinions. It's just like, you know, if you're in that situation, the manager's not thinking like, oh my God, what is the media going to tell me? No, he's thinking this is what's going to be best for my team, for me to put them in a position to win the game.
Yeah, so I mean, he's going based off data, you know, statistics, records,
exactly,
all kinds of stuff that proves that this works. And he went with it, and just this time it didn't work out that way. But it's not 100% accurate, but it is the best, you know, closest thing to this, you know, strategy that's going to win.
Exactly.
That's the same. It's kind of the same thing with like, you know, like where for me, like when I watch fighting and UFC and stuff like that. And, and people are like, oh, these fights suck, especially with wrestling. Like I'm not a wrestler. But when there's wrestling fights on, when I first started watching, I'm like, man, these fights are boring as hell, man.
Sure. Yeah.
But they're, you know, when I hear somebody wrestling, they hate when people say that because they're actually doing like fucking really good wrestling, you know, and I just don't know what that is.
Right.
But yeah,
exactly, man. I mean, someone who's been a wrestler or who, you know, who does Brazilian jiu-jitsu or knows that, like they understand, like, oh my God, like this guy he's a wrestler. So like
Yeah.
he's a badass, or he's this, or, you know, because they get it, they understand that, you know, so they get it's more, it gets you more involved, right?
Exactly, and it goes back to your when you said like there's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of free opinions, but the ones that really count, you got to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's
just
right.
a lot of people like that's what I try to like remind myself of because
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people I well with good intent want to like try to protect you from stuff, but
Of course,
a lot of the
always.
damn time motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they talking about.
That's true too, man. You know, bro. Like, here's the bottom line. Obviously, man, like Stone Cold said so, right? But it's just opinions are free, man, and opinions are free, and people are always going to have them. And you know, sometimes it's going to be some of the closest people that we have in our lives, and they're just trying to protect us. But at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for us. You know, like we can hear all the advice that we want in the world, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be what we choose to do.
Yeah, yeah.
We got to go with it, and then we learn from it.
So part of this podcast, one of the things that I want to do is try to make sure we bring value. And to be honest with you, I think you've brought value already. Not even trying.
Appreciate
But I
it.
know you're I know you're a business owner, and I want, and it's right now economically, people are having rough times financially. Is there anything that you could maybe share with us or the listeners that might be able to help them out or might be a benefit that they can practically like put to use?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, just to preface this, I didn't grow up in business. You know, my whole life, my parents taught me go to school, get good grades, go out and get a good job, and I did that. You know, I worked in the corporate world. I got my degree. You know, I got in debt and all that stuff. And you know, knowing what I know now, if I had to change stuff, I probably would have never gone to school. You know, no, based on the concepts that I know, but not saying that there's anything wrong with doing all this. Okay, just want to
Right,
preface all this
right,
immediately. But I wasn't taught entrepreneurship, and once I got introduced to entrepreneurship, it really made me think outside of the box that I was used to living in. And I got involved in network marketing, multi-level marketing, and I still am involved. And it was a complete game changer because unfortunately, multi-level marketing has a bad stigma attached to it, right? People think
yeah,
it's a scam, pyramid, and Ponzi scheme. You name it, you hear it. It happens all
right,
the time, right?
right, right,
But it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life because it got me thinking outside of the box that I was used to. I found that there was, there's more than one way of making money, and I never knew that. I was just like, man, I'm always going to be here in this place. And network marketing changed the game for me. It allowed me to step away and branch off from ideas that were ingrained in me my whole life. And not to blame my parents. I mean, they provided everything that I ever wanted in my life, and they were there for
of
me and
course,
backed me
yeah,
up. But, it's just, their concepts could only take me so far. And I had to look outside of that, and over the years, I've been blessed with mentors and, had been able to have conversations and meet people that had things that I always desired. So it's just like, I had to look at what they did. And, now, I mean, I left the corporate world a few years ago. We took my wife out of work a handful of years ago when our third kid was born. And, again, looking like, my parents never had that type of lifestyle. Like, my mom always worked in the morning. My dad took care of us, and then they switched in the afternoon. So for us right now, we were just talking about this the other day, me and my wife, we have the fortunate opportunity to be here with our kids like all day. And now my wife I help her operate a daycare that she runs from home. Outside of network marketing, there's other things that I've gotten involved in. I mean, I've done Uber, I've delivered food. I mean, but the biggest thing, it doesn't matter because I have now been able to make the choice to work for myself. And really, that's what it all came down to, was just making the decision. And that decision was very hard for me in the beginning because, again, I was just accustomed to like go to school, get good grades, go out and get a good job. I didn't know what it meant. I was always used to the steady income. Whether I went to work or not, I was still going to get paid because I had a sick day or whatever. But now it's like, if I don't put the work in, like, there might not be any food on the table, or like if nobody comes to the daycare, like there's going to be no income coming in. So like there's constant things that need to be happening. So, for those of you out there that might be, looking at, gloom and doom of 2020 and man, this financial situation is rough. I mean, what I've seen, there's more people and more businesses that have started in this time than ever before, because people are starting to realize that I don't want to be a statistic, that I'm going to go and make it happen. There's so many people that are flourishing now, but they made the decision to do it. So really, that's the biggest piece of advice that I have for anybody out there listening to this right now. If like you're wondering, like, man, like, you're praying on your hands and knees, like, man, what can I do? Listen, just go for it. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you're going to be back in the same place that you were. So you got nothing to lose, but you got absolutely everything to gain, because in the next 90 to 120, 365 days from now, your life can be completely different. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be a stay-at-home dad, me and my wife would be stay-at-home parents, and, we'd still be able to generate income and like just do whatever we want with our kids and just be here with them, like I would probably told you you're nuts, because I didn't believe it back then. But now that I'm doing it, like, man, and I've surrounded myself with people who are doing the same thing. So it's just like, they say if you hang around with 5 broke people, or if you hang around with 4 broke people, you're going to be the 5th. But you hang around with 4 successful people, you're going to become the 5th. So it's really who your environment and who you surround yourself with and what you feed your mind every single day.
Yeah. That's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope. There's a lot of, I hope you guys were listening. If anything, I'd probably be taking some notes right here, man. This podcast is pretty dope. Already banging. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
There's one thing that I want to kind of go back to that you kind of mentioned.
Sure.
Real quick before we wrap it up.
You
talked about like we talked about opinions and stuff like that, and you mentioned mentorship. As far as finding a mentor, you know what I'm saying? Like, because back in the day when I was growing up, I really, my mentors were the adults, and the adults were telling me what to do. So it's just like I listen, I guess to listen to the adults,
Sure.
But is there a way to find mentorship, or is there specific things to look for, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, I feel like these days, I mean, there's so much access now to anything that you want, man. I mean, you can learn whatever you want just by technology and just typing in Google, like, hey, how can I make money online? Or, how can I get a mentor? Or how can I learn this? Or how can I learn that? And there's so much access out there now. Like when I first got introduced to like Mentor and all that stuff, I mean, it really, I was just introduced through word of mouth. But now it's just like, okay, well, you can go online and you can type in, like, I mean, I don't know, you really got to think about what you want in your life, right? What do you want in your life? What do you want to get out of it? And then just go seek the people who have those results. And so then
if I were to like try to, I don't know, if I wanted to improve my marriage, or if I wanted to improve my financial status, I'd probably, go to somebody who has that, or.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, okay, so let's just look at look at marriage. Okay. Look at marriage.
Yeah.
So, I personally would be looking at people who have successful marriages, right? Like, and I'm not just talking about, like for example, my parents, their wedding anniversary was yesterday. Yeah. They've been married for 39 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. Am I saying my parents have a perfect marriage? No, but I've seen their marriage evolve over the years, right?
Right.
When I was younger to now, would I look to my parents as marriage mentors? Yes, because I want to get to that point, right? I look at people who are successful in marriage. Look at people who are successful financially. You think about people like Dave Ramsey, okay? Or whoever it may be, those are big names that pop up, but it doesn't have to be big names. Look at somebody who you consider successful as far as when it comes to their finances, and be like, okay, well, just ask them, like, hey, Jesse, man, I see, man, you got a badass house, and like, you're living great. Like, what did you do to get that? Right. And it's just like going back to what you said earlier, like people are scared of, raising their hands in class because they don't want to admit that they're behind, or that they don't know, and they don't want people to think that they're dumb. Well, you know what? That to me is the dumbest thing to do, is not raise your hand and ask the question, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind.
Right.
But if you ask the question, right? If you ask the question and get the answer that you're looking for, that answer can help you understand it fully and take you to the next level. But because you were afraid to ask the question, it's like, so don't be afraid to go seek the mentor, right? Like my wife, she didn't know what it took to open up a daycare, but she spoke with people who had that and just followed that example. And now people come to her to ask her like, hey, how do you do it?
Yeah.
So it's just like, just really taking the initiative and going, seeking the people, seeking the result that you want and going to find those people and talking to them, man.
Right. I appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Mr. Julian Gomez, man, delivered again, always on point.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully we can do some more, let me know. I'll clear my schedule for you.
It depends if the fans want you back. If fans want you back.
It depends. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this goes viral or not. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, then hey, we'll chalk it up as a bust. But hopefully we don't have to.
Nah, you're coming back on, bro. This was fun, man. This is fun.
It was a good time, man. I appreciate it, bro. I really do, man. I really do. I know I was messing around with it. I said, man, hey, get me on. But I mean, this was fun, man. It really was. I enjoyed this conversation, and hopefully everybody that listens to this, it will bring some value. And we can do it again, man. But hey, congratulations to you on everything you're doing, and congratulations on the launch of your brand new podcast, man. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more episodes in the future, my man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Again, appreciate your time, and I guess we'll link up later, man.
Yes, sir. We're gonna get to watching the Bears now. Go Bears.
Go Bears. Ooh.
All right, peace.